For duty one last time from Foxnar, Channel Islands. It's pretty, guys. And you guys, I got to give it to you, scored some viral moments with none other than Jerry Jones. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, imagine that. No practice for the Cowboys today, so we are in the Channel Islands area, getting a little sun over here. Jerry Jones always is in the spotlight, whether it's his opening news conference or the sit-downs that he does with the Texas TV stations. And we had some interesting little areas of conversation with him.
Yeah, we did. And some of our moments really had nothing to do with maybe the X's and O's of football, but with some outside things surrounding that came from the World Cup.
Including problems for a former Cowboys quarterback and those pesky windows at AT&T Stadium and the sun streaming in. World Cup managed to block out that sun. Would Jerry consider it? You're not thinking about the curtains, though?
Well, do you know something? Thinking about it and doing something about it are two different things.
For you, if you think about it, you could do something about it.
I think about it. I think about tinting. And now, it's hard to tell that time of the year because the sun's not the same this time of the year that it is in the fall. I like some of the effects of the tinting. And so we're giving that a thought.
Before we get to this year's football team, I wanted to ask you about somebody you care a great deal about, one of your great former players, Tony Romo, and what he's experiencing right now. Have you had a chance to talk to him? And what are your thoughts, again, about what he's experiencing right now?
Well, I very much have had a chance to talk to him, and I've been talking to him. I love him. I love what he's about. I love his character. I love his love of sport. Do you think Tony Romo knows how to get up when he gets knocked down? Okay, he had a life of that. And absolutely, that's one of his greatest attributes is that he can handle adversity. And so this is something that he will work through.
Again, Tony Romo is on leave from his job at CBS Sports after being arrested on suspicion of drunken driving in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago. Jerry made no secret of his love for Romo, and he revealed a little something about maybe tinting those windows.
Which fans, they were excited to hear that.
Wow.
It's all of a sudden, why didn't you do this years ago? It's not like you're a billionaire or anything.
If Jerry wants to do it, it'll get done, Jeff.
No doubt about it. To number 2 now, the man who succeeded Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, comes in with a 2-5 postseason record, has dealt with things off the field. Mike and Sam, you got a chance to sit down with a confident, spirited franchise quarterback for Dallas just a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. Almost a defiant Dak Prescott, who laid it out at his opening news conference, not going to shy away from the Super Bowl expectations. And then he spent quite a bit of time chatting with us as well.
There's definitely a different sense of urgency with Dak, and it's because he's getting a little bit older by quarterback standards. He just turned 33 years old, but the bottom line is he wants to win a Super Bowl.
The Athletic had listed him as a Tier 2 quarterback behind the likes of Justin Herbert. Does Dak think he is the best quarterback in the NFL? This was his answer.
If you don't think that you're the best or you can do anything that what somebody else does, I don't know if this game is for you. Now, can I run like Lamar? Absolutely not. Can Pat extend plays and Josh Allen extend plays, with the best of them? Absolutely. So I do kind of think there's a tier to it because we all do the jobs different and we all can get the job done differently. But truthfully, I couldn't tell you about a tier. I couldn't give a damn of what tiers people put it in. When I do see those things or those things come up or ask that question, I wonder who had the credentials to create those tiers. Because at the end of the day, said it's about doing a job, and I think I can get my job done as good as anybody in this league.
Yeah, your opinion is the one that matters most, and you feel, all things considered, you're the best quarterback in the league.
I absolutely feel the right time, the right thing, that I am the best. As I said, I'm giving credit to, Mahomes, to Josh Allen, to Lamar Jackson. I mean, two guys that just went and won the Super Bowl or went to the Super Bowl. They're winners. You can't take away anything from what others done. But, yeah, if I don't think that I'm the best, you'll see me retire.
What is your biggest sense of motivation right now? Where does that stem from?
Yeah, I put it on myself. As I just said, it's the love and the passion that I have for this game and wanting to win. And It's, you know, being a father now, you know, I want my girls to say my dad's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And, you know, I'm going to give this game everything that I have.
Dak's young daughters have been seen at camp quite a bit, visiting with their dad after practice. And Dak opened up here recently, most recently to the morning news, about the difficulty of breaking off his engagement to Sarah Jane Ramos during the offseason as well. Prescott seems to be an expert at compartmentalizing, though, because he seems as focused as ever on the field.
Yeah, and he talked to us after, too. He's done a lot of work, psychology, because that's what he studied in college, but he reads a lot. He doesn't pay attention to social media, and I think that's smart for him, because can you imagine the things that he gets coming at him every single day?
All right, Jeff, we're standing here next to a beautiful body of water, and I'm surprised that Sam hasn't jumped in yet, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of been her inclination throughout this entire trip.
Talk about teeing up number 3, which is the ice box where Sam's heart used to be. You know, promises are made all the time, and some of them are just a little bogus, guys. Let's be honest. Jerry Jones said he'll retire when he has more Super Bowls than any owner in NFL history, which means never. But Sam, I got to give it to you, and Mike, you have to give it to her also. 5 cold plunges promised and 5 delivered, right?
No hesitation, right?
No,
5 for 5.
it's just natural for me, Jeff, really, when you're just one with the water. And it just was funny how all the media members then were like, was it really cold? Maybe I should do it. Tim Kalishaw of the Dallas Morning News finally did it, too. So we had some fun with it.
I was one of those media members who was not tempted, but I did provide some play-by-play. All right, here we go. The final plunge. 5 of 5, and she's in. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Gannon up before 7 in the morning on 5 separate days at Cowboys training camp. Something I thought I'd never see. She did it. I didn't. We're all just living our lives here in Southern California. Congratulations. It is the place where you're most comfortable, though, isn't it?
It really is. It brings me a certain type of peace. And you should be more surprised with not the fact that I got in the water, but the fact that I was up during the 6 a.m. hour. Pretty much every day, Jeff, on this trip, I've been up at that hour. Go figure. So
tough act to follow there, Jeff. You'll be out here soon. Better think of something.
Yeah.
My only gripe, Sam, is that, you know, this team owns the 5 Lombardis, so I feel like there needed to be 6 plunges. Mike, I don't know how far the water is. I don't know if you can push her in right now. Well, we have to get to number 4, so hold off. And that is, what is that? Hold on, I'm trying to remember, Mike. Can you remember? What is number 4, Mike?
I see what you're doing there. Grandpa had a little bit of a senior moment on the air during one of our early newscasts during the first week of camp. Let's roll it. So we will see you guys again soon with Sam Gannon. That's my name. In Oxnard. I'm not that old. I'm fine. I was trying to decide whether to say my name or in Oxnard first. I know what my name is. That's great, because you just say under your breath, you're Mike Doocy.
It's like, I was like, what's happening here? I was there to support you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
It was nice of every one of our newscasts to play that over and over again. And then I won the Tickets Emergency Break of the Week as well for being the biggest idiot on television or radio that week. So that's something. That's one award anyway. Some people win Emmys. I win E-Breaks. It's kind of how I roll.
I think the E-Break's more rare, and to us, Mike, it's Mike bleeping Doocy. So I think you know, needed to be reminded. Guys,
100%.
it's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you're not off the hook yet. We're going to bring you back in the second block here on Free4All Plus after this.